Ai Weiwei was born in Beijing in 1957. The Chinese government denounced his father, Ai Qing, for his poetry, and in 1958 the family was sent to a labor camp when Weiwei was just 1 year old. Later, the family was exiled to Shihezi, Xinjiang, in 1961, where they lived for 16 years. The family returned to Beijing in 1976, and Ai Weiwei began his training at Beijing Film Academy. He spent the years between 1983 and 1993 in New York. A decade spent in the USA, a country that promised Chinese artists freedom from the repressions they faced in their homeland, helped in shaping his style and set the stage for his future career as an artist. He lived in a tiny apartment in New York's East Village and was an active member in the neighborhood's arts scene. In 1993, Ai returned to China when his father became ill. Between 1994 and 1997, Ai collaborated on 3 books that promoted avant-garde Chinese art. They were published outside official government channels and became signposts for China's underground art community. His profile increased in 2000 when he worked with friends to curate an exhibition of deliberately outrageous art. After building his own studio complex on the edge of Beijing in 1999, Ai turned toward architecture, and 4 years later, he founded the design firm Fake to realize his projects, which emphasize simplicity through the use of commonplace materials. Ai Weiwei worked with Swiss architects to design the Beijing National Stadium, also known as the Bird's Nest, for the 2008 Summer Olympics. He later regretted working so closely on a government project and did not attend the opening ceremonies of the Games. He told the New York Times, "I've always thought of this ceremony as a product of government bureaucracy, rather than a natural celebration and expression generated among free citizens. I feel that there are too many regrets in this ceremony, which could make me unhappy." A massive earthquake struck south-central China in May 2008, and close to 70,000 people lost their lives. Some people blamed the Chinese government for the high death toll. They felt that, as the government rushed to rapidly expand cities, they did not build earthquake-safe buildings. Ai Weiwei made several art pieces in response to the earthquake, including Straight. For this piece, Ai and his assistants gathered hundreds of tons of twisted rebar from the earthquake-damaged buildings and over several years hammered each one straight. His idea was to metaphorically make something that went so wrong right again. This piece, called Snake Ceiling, is made of hundreds of backpacks latched together in the shape of a snake. They represent children's backpacks left behind after the earthquake. I saw numerous piles of backpacks outside schools when he traveled to Sichuan following the disaster. I created this piece to document the students who died in the 2008 Sichuan earthquake. The list includes the name, date of birth, class, and sex of more than 5,000 students. The work includes a 3-hour and 41-minute audio recording reciting the names of the students killed in the earthquake. Using social media, I asked people around the world to help him create the audio by recording the names of the students. Many people believe that it was Ai Weiwei's outspokenness about the earthquake that led the Chinese government to arrest him for tax evasion in 2011. He denied the charges against him, but was imprisoned after his arrest for about 3 months. I made this piece called Sacred as a response to his own imprisonment. It is a series of 6 dioramas, each showing his prison cell. I told NPR, I memorized every crack in the ceiling, every mark on the wall. I am an artist and architect, so I have a good memory for these things. Each 1/2 scale room shows a different scene, which can be viewed through small openings in the walls and ceilings. Inside, guards escort Ai into his cell for the first time. He is interrogated. 2 guards watch closely as Ai eats a meal. Guards watch over him when he is in the shower, when he is on the toilet, even when he is asleep. When Ai Weiwei was in prison, people from around the world campaigned for his freedom. He was released from prison, but he continues to be under heavy surveillance to this day. The Chinese government only recently returned Ai's passport to him, allowing him to travel outside of China. Ai Weiwei continues to make work that relates to his personal experiences with government surveillance, interrogation, and detention. As his work developed, Ai became increasingly committed to his guiding principle of promoting human rights and freedom of expression for all. For example, in response to the European refugee crisis, Ai Weiwei produced a 5-column installation on the facade of Berlin's Konzerthaus, a collection of 14,000 life vests from refugees who landed on the Greek island of Lesbos after battling the Mediterranean Sea from Turkey. The Ai Weiwei installation we will visit today is called Trace. It is made up of 176 portraits, each made of thousands of plastic Lego bricks, assembled by hand and laid out on the floor. It was originally installed inside the former prison on Alcatraz Island National Park. The individuals represented in Trace have been detained, exiled, or have sought political asylum because of their actions, beliefs, or affiliations. The subjects were chosen by Ai Weiwei and reflect his response to information provided by Amnesty International and other human rights organizations, as well as his own independent research. Trace includes individuals from more than 30 countries, the majority of whom are from Asia and the Middle East, reflecting Ai's familiarity with the region. Each image is pixelated, resembling surveillance images or photos found on the internet. The graphic manipulation can symbolize the dissolving nature of the individual, or may suggest that each person has been encoded as a form of digital data. The colors in each portrait roughly represent the colors of the subject's national flags. Inspired by his 5-year-old son, Ai chose Legos as a disarmingly playful and common material that can easily be constructed or deconstructed on a massive scale, in some ways acting as a metaphor for freedom. Ai Weiwei is one of the best-known artists working today. His provocative blend of Chinese history and tradition within a wholly contemporary practice, serves as a form of human rights activism, cultural commentary, and a critique of the global imbalance of power, a fact that has turned I into a political target. He once declared, "I will never leave China unless I am forced to, because China is mine. I will not leave something that belongs to me in the hands of people I do not trust."